Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NanoBits podcast. And today, there was some crazy news in NFL football today. Stephon Gilmore, a former Defensive Player of the Year and All-Pro corner, traded to the Carolina Panthers for a sixth-round pick. Wow, absolutely insane. And, in this episode later, we'll be giving our game picks. But for now, I say we talk all about the Stephon Gilmore trade. Ethan, any thoughts about it before I go on my rant?
Any thoughts? I might have to go on a little rant here myself. Stephon Gilmore, okay, listen. Patriots probably, I know it might sound crazy on paper, they probably didn't make a terrible choice. They definitely could have gotten a lot more for Stephon Gilmore, but they didn't make a terrible choice of getting rid of him in general.
I agree with that.
They're like building a new team in New England, and if they're going to want to pay people, a lot of contracts coming up this year, they're probably going to have to get rid of someone like Stephon Gilmore eating away at the cap like that. But from a gameplay standpoint, this is the worst thing the Patriots could have done.
Oh yeah.
This is the best player on the Patriots, by the way.
I don't even think it was really a question either.
I mean, yeah, it's been shaky the past 2 seasons at this point, but when he is healthy, he's good. He might draw a lot of penalties, sure, but he's still incredible.
I'd say his playmaking ability along with his coverage makes him, when healthy, the top 5 corner, at least.
Yeah, this guy is like, if you take the if you guys are long-term, I would say, fans of the podcast, Ben and I disagree about who's the second best corner in the league, between Jair Alexander and Xavier Howard. But if you want someone that can do both of the things that those guys can do, it's Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, I believe when we ranked our corners, I had him at number 4, and I'm honestly gonna keep it there probably.
I had him at 4 as well, but this guy is someone who can move straight up to 1.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who knows what's going to happen. He literally, if he's even close to not even close, because there's plenty of talent at corner currently, like Jalen Ramsey and Jair and Xavier Howard. But if he plays like how he did in 2019, he'll be the best corner in the league. It's that simple. I would take his season over in 2019 over, how high I am on Xavier Howard, but I would take Stephon Gilmore's 2019 season over Xavier Howard's 2020 season any day of the week.
It's not even close.
Not even close. The amount of impact that man provided to that Patriots defense, that was one of the greatest defenses for a single season. Honestly, that was one of the greatest defenses I've seen in a while. Maybe ever. He was the main leader of that.
So, listen to this. In the past 10 years, the only DB to win NFL Defensive Player of the Year, including 2010, is Troy Polamalu and Stephon Gilmore. So that's 9 years apart. You really don't see DBs really winning Defensive Player of the Year at all. Since 2000, it's Ed Reed, Bob Sanders, Charles Woodson, Troy Polamalu, and Stephon Gilmore. So he's up there with all of those top guys.
Yeah, and when you look at the advanced statistics from that season, you see that his quarterback rating was a 44.1 when targeted. That is absolutely outstanding. And he also had 20 passes defended as well as 6 interceptions, which led the league. And absolutely, probably one of the best, not the best, because there's been some amazing seasons, but definitely up there for the best corner seasons of all time.
Oh yeah, definitely up there.
Moving into my thoughts of the trade, as you guys all know, I'm a Carolina Panthers, and when I got the notification in the middle of class that this happened, I kind of lost my mind. Like, the fact that I honestly did not. I mean, obviously, I have thought of it before, like it has crossed my mind before, but I didn't think of it as like a real possibility. Every time a player like demands a trade or is cut, like a really good player, you're always gonna picture, what if this guy gets traded to my team? But like, I didn't think it was like a real possibility. Like, I didn't think it was actually going to happen. And then I see later that day, I'm sitting with our friend who was on the podcast last week, who is a big Patriots fan. And I get the notification and I'm screaming. He's crying. It's a great scene in the middle of fourth period. But This is a great addition by the Carolina Panthers, even though he's not going to be able to play right off the bat due to injury. Even if we don't re-sign him, which I think we will re-sign him. It's still a great trade for the Panthers. I mean, we're getting over half a season of an elite corner, and that's saying the worst case scenario where we don't re-sign him. I truthfully think we will re-sign him.
Something interesting is that and yeah, I do agree with you. I definitely think it's worth the 6th round pick to re-sign.
No, that's nothing. We literally drafted a long snapper at the 6th round pick.
I do think that it is kind of interesting that you were with our Patriots fan friend. Obviously, Stephon Gilmore's from the Patriots, and Stephon Gilmore is probably going to come back when he plays the Giants, which is my favorite team.
Yeah.
So that should be fun. But listen to this. Stephon Gilmore's Defensive Player of the Year season, he went off. We know this. It was a 50% completion percentage, which is only 10 away from if you literally threw the ball, if you spiked the ball every single play. That's crazy. I agree. Basically he ruined like seasons.
Yeah, he did. He really did.
He ruined quarterback stats like crazy.
And the main reason I'm so excited about this, obviously, he's a tremendously talented player. You've heard in the past, I rank him as the 4th best corner, and that's still the same. Not only is he a tremendously talented player, but he is a seasoned veteran that is coming to a team with not a lot of veterans, a really young defensive core. And although it has played very good so far, the Panthers have been one of the top defenses this year. They really need that veteran leadership, and I really think Stephon Gilmore, combined with his experience and his outstanding talent, I think that he'll be able to bring that veteran presence. I mean, pretty much the only veteran on that defense that's not like, pretty much the only starter in the defense that's not 25 or under is Shaq Thompson. So we really are in the need of veterans on that defense, and Gilmore will provide just that while locking up every receiver in the league.
Stephon Gilmore is this is so out of nowhere news that Pro Football Reference hasn't even actually updated his team. This is brand new, and everybody knows that already. But this is out of nowhere. This is a big day in the NFL. Ben, anything else to add on about Gilly?
I also think that this addition combined with J.C. Horn, the draft selection, combined with this pickup by an elite corner in Gilmore, with the trade for C.J. Henderson, and already we had someone like Dante Jackson. Also Jeremy Chin in the secondary. I think this honestly makes the Panthers the best secondary in the league when healthy.
Well,
thoughts on that?
J.C. Horn isn't playing.
I said when healthy.
Well, yeah, but I don't. It could be. I don't think it's the best.
Who's better?
I just don't think it's the best.
Who's better?
I think. Okay, Ben. Listen. The Panthers defense. No, listen. The Panthers defense has been good this season until they play the Cowboys. Yeah, their defensive players have been good, but that doesn't mean that they're the best team. I'm
not saying they're the best team. I'm just talking.
Just let me talk, Ben. Just let me talk. That doesn't mean they're the best secondary just because you have these big names. I think this so far this season they've been one of the best defenses. I don't think it's going to keep up though, and I think that you're definitely overrating the Panthers a lot here.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, they've looked great this year, secondary in particular. I mean, the entire defense has looked really good, but secondary in particular, I think, I don't know. I just think that Gilmore is going to have a huge impact on this team. I mean, he in my opinion, you might not have the same opinion, but in my opinion, he's still a top 5 corner when healthy.
Yeah. What? Why would I not have the same opinion?
Yeah, I thought you did, and I think Jeremy Chin. I mean, he's not like one of the best safeties in the league, but he's a very good young player. And with our new additions such as C.J. Henderson and J.C. Horn when he comes back from injury, I really do think that this is. I mean, obviously, not everyone's going to agree with me. Like you even said, you don't agree with me, which I completely understand. There's plenty of good secondaries in the league, but just in my opinion, I do think they have the best secondary in the league when everyone returns. And we also need to give props. One more thing before we move on. We need to give props to the Panthers general manager. I mean, seriously, he's given Dan Arnold a third and a fifth, as well as not even a fifth. Dan Arnold a third and a sixth in exchange for CJ Henderson, Stephon Gilmore, and a sixth-round pick. So just props to the Panthers general manager. Any final thoughts, Ethan?
No, it's definitely something that is unexpected.
I was not expecting this at all.
I don't have much to say in terms of right now because we're not going to see it for a couple of weeks.
That is true.
But so we just kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm going to be very excited to see. I'm sure we'll both be watching that game together, Panthers versus Giants. We expect to return. But let's move on to the game picks now. So first up, we have one of the most interesting Thursday night football games I've seen in a while, at least on paper. Rams versus Seahawks. These NFC West games are always interesting. Who do you got in this game, Ethan?
You know my choice. I've said it on the podcast. I'm saying it forever. Rams, until they're just going to keep losing games, and I said they had an 11-0 start at least. I said that before they lost to the Cardinals. So now I'm just going to go and say 1-6 or 16-1.
All right.
I just don't see them losing. Like again, they can only lose to their division. That's it.
Well, this is their division.
I know. But I just think they can only lose to their division, and they're not losing to the Seahawks. Not at least right now. Also, they play the Chiefs later in the year, and I'm still very high on the Chiefs, but Rams look so good, and Rams have one of the only defenses in the NFL that can compete with the Chiefs offense, and the Chiefs defense won't be able to compete with the Rams offense. It's so simple, but it's just the truth. I mean, the only thing that the Chiefs really have an advantage is kicker Harrison Butker. And even that, Rams have one of the best punters of all time with Johnny Hekker, so it's like whatever.
Yeah. So you're taking the Rams in this game?
Of course I'm taking the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams as well. They're coming off the disappointing loss last week. I think they're going to strongly rebound from this. I do think, just like every Seattle Seahawks game, this is going to be a close game, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Every Seahawks game seems to go down to it just seems to go down to the final play or something. So, yeah, I'm taking the Rams, but it'll be close. Moving on next, the game that everyone is waking up. They're setting their alarms for 9:30 on a Sunday from London. The greatest game ever played. The New York Jets versus the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm gonna take. You know what? I'm gonna take the Jets.
All right,
Ben.
I'm taking the Falcons. The Jets are terrible.
I know the Jets are terrible, but
the Falcons are terrible too. So
the Falcons. Look, I just don't think that the Falcons are gonna win. I straight up was trying to find out or think of a reason. I think the Jets are just gonna outplay the Falcons.
All right, I could understand that.
I think I think Corey Davis is gonna sit on my bench in fantasy and drop like 20, 22 points.
Yeah, that is a real possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, Falcons. I mean, Cordell Patterson almost single-handedly won them the game, but the Falcons.
Yeah, but you're gonna expect Cordero Patterson to do it again?
No, I don't. I don't think he's good. I mean, that would be really weird if he did.
Yeah.
Like, how weird would it be if Cordell Patterson just becomes like a top 5 running back? He's not even like a running back. But what if he becomes like a top 5 running back?
He's like a gadget guy. Yeah.
That would be one of the. I could easily. You know what's funny though? I could see that happening as one of the most random one season wonder players of all time.
The thing is with Cordero Patterson is this is the first good season he's had as a not kick returner.
Yeah, I know.
Because you know Cordero Patterson was a first round pick.
Yeah, it didn't make sense at the time and still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the Vikings,
they didn't draft him to play running back or receiver. They literally drafted him to be a kick returner.
Yeah, I mean, he is an incredible kick returner. He's
he's definitely one of the greatest.
He's a 4-time first team All Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. Also, he's a good player.
He's probably the second or third best of all time.
I mean, only behind like other Bears.
Yeah, I know.
Evan Hester. Deion Sanders, and he's right up there with him.
Deion Sanders has to be up there. But Cordell Patterson aside, I'm taking the Falcons. I just really don't think. I don't know why we're talking about Cordell Patterson so much. I don't know. I mean, I know how that got brought up, but I don't know why we're talking about that so much. Yeah. But I'm taking the Falcons.
Ben and I really, when we started the podcast, were like, this is going to get out of hand sometimes because Ben and I can talk about one NFL player for hours.
Yeah, I know. Like, I try to make it so like this doesn't take more than like an hour 15, an hour 30. But if we could just talk for as long as we want, this video would probably be like 3 hours.
Yeah, and there'd also be a lot more dialogue.
Yeah.
Ben and I, when we're not on the podcast, get hot with each other. We get mad. Yeah. We just call each other stupid. It's all out the window. So you got Falcons. I have Jets, and this next game, Patriots bounced back and they beat the Texans.
Yeah, I don't think there's much debate on this one. I mean, the Patriots aren't a very good team. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but this is an easy win. The Texans, I mean, they started off the season decent, but I think this could be a situation similar to the Jaguars last year where they win their first game, but they lose every single other game. So yeah, I'm taking the Patriots.
I'm taking the Patriots as well. As long as Davis Mills is in the question of being our quarterback, I'm not picking the Texans.
Completely agreed.
He's awful. And Mac Jones looks like the best rookie QB, which was kind of predicted just because he was the most NFL ready coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue Trevor Lawrence, but how's that worked out?
That's not his fault, but we'll get into that soon.
So we both choose Patriots.
Yes.
Next 1:00 game, we have the Lions versus the Vikings.
I've been very familiar with the Lions over the past couple of days due to Madden, but not saying that makes me think better of them. I'm taking the Vikings in this one. If you've listened to this podcast in the past, you've known that I'm not too high on the Vikings this year. I think they're always good on paper, but don't seem to put it together. But this is a game I see them putting it together and winning.
I mean, I'm gonna take the Vikings because that's what I think is right. But I want the Lions to win. Lions went from being my least favorite NFL franchise to being one of my favorites at this point. I really like the Lions. I like Dan Campbell. I like DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift was my favorite running back out of the 2020 class by a lot. I don't know. I love the Lions, but the Vikings just have more talent in general.
Yeah, I agree. I think just the pure talent.
This is a game that will just come down to that because Vikings can't always get it together, but they're going to be able to rely on their athletes for this one.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said. I think just the more talented team will come out on top, and that's the Vikings.
Next one.
Up, we talked about the Panthers a lot today. Now we're talking about their game. Eagles-Panthers.
I hate the Eagles with a burning passion. Panthers.
I'm taking Panthers as well.
Eagles are just they're so awful. I hate the Eagles so much. And
I don't think the Eagles are gonna, even non-bias aside, I don't think the Eagles are gonna win. Like I know we lost to the Cowboys last week, but the Cowboys are clearly better than the Eagles. It'll show when they play. The Cowboys have an elite offense. The Eagles do not. The Eagles don't have a good defense either. I have the Panthers winning by this. It honestly could be. Actually, I don't know. I don't think it'll be close. I'm gonna go with the Panthers.
Okay, so now I'm gonna put this bias aside. Just looking at Eagles players in the non-Eagles uniforms, just thinking of another team somehow. I still think Panthers win.
Yeah.
Panthers are just better. Eagles just aren't really that great. They had a good secondary starting off the year, and then it just kind of dropped.
Even without McCaffrey, I still see the Panthers winning this game.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed that they could have a perfectly fine – the offense was not the problem last week, honestly. I know Sam Darnold threw 2 interceptions, which isn't the best, but the offense put points on the board. So the offense can function with McCaffrey, unlike last year where Teddy Bridgewater was struggling to put a drive together without McCaffrey on the field. But Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers in this game.
Yeah. So we
Saints
both got
Washington.
for that one.
Saints Washington for the next game. I have a feeling this will be a very good game.
I mean, I'm gonna take the Saints. Usually Washington gets beat up by the Giants. This year it was the Saints so far, and that's it. And I'm gonna take the Saints anyways. Just because Washington really just hasn't looked great. Taylor Heineke actually looked really good last week. So did Terry McLaurin. But just because Terry McLaurin was getting wide open doesn't mean Taylor Heineke didn't have to make the throws. There were some deep down the field throws that looked genuinely good.
I agree.
But I just think the Saints. This is another one like the Lions Vikings, where it's just going to be talent, and Saints just have the talent. I mean, one of the only offensive lines that can put up with the Washington D line, which hasn't even been that great this year. But yeah, Saints. I'm going to take here.
I'm actually going to take Washington in this game. I'm not the most impressed of Washington this year, but I also don't think they've been terrible, especially considering that they're playing with a completely new quarterback. They haven't been terrible. I mean, I thought they were going to do very good this year. They haven't exactly lived up to my expectations, but I still think they're going to win this game. This is definitely going to be a battle fought in the trenches. I mean, Washington have one of the best D lines in the league, and the Saints have one of the best O lines in the league. Washington's defense really needs to step it up, though. I mean, this was expected to be one of the best units in the entire league this year, but they really have not done good. They let Daniel Jones score 29 on them. So that's not impressive. And this defense needs to step it up if they want to make a playoff push. But I think it will not completely step it up in this game, but I think they'll do enough to win. So I'm taking Washington.
So I have Saints, you have Washington, and that moves on to the Titans and the Jaguars. Two teams that suck, kind of. No, Titans don't suck. The
Titans don't suck. They just lose random games.
They lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
If you sucked for losing to the Jets, then the Jets, then the Rams would suck because they lost to the Jets.
Yeah.
Last year. So, yeah. People lose games. People need to give the Titans a little bit of a break. Not exactly because, geez, they're a mess, but they are missing their two best receivers. And the only team that really wouldn't be fazed by that is the Browns.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take the Titans. Derrick Henry is the best running back in the NFL.
I disagree with that statement, but I'm also taking the Titans.
Yeah. Jaguars it's just not happening. Even DJ Chark being injured now, already just not good in Jacksonville. They might even have the first pick again.
It's going to be hard to beat the Texans. Maybe though.
I mean, Texans already have a win.
I think the Jaguars will win a game or two though. Won't be this game though.
Make it happen.
I'll say that though. It will not be this game.
Might not win a game is the Lions.
Yeah.
Which I hate because I like the Lions. I think they're good. They have the worst schedule in the NFL.
No, they'll win one or two. I mean, they'll probably win one against the Bears.
Hopefully.
All right. Both Titans.
Yeah.
Next to Dolphins, Bucks. I don't even think Tua is playing in this game.
Is this in Tampa or Miami?
It's in Tampa.
It's in Tampa.
This is not good. This is not good for Miami. Miami has looked atrocious this year. I mean, if you saw our Instagram post, one of my takeaways from this week was that the Miami Dolphins are not going to be anywhere near the playoffs, and I'm standing by that. Yeah. I believe they're 1-3 right now, and they have looked absolutely terrible. I say you still give Tua the rest of the year to prove himself. I don't agree with trading for Deshaun Watson, who wouldn't be able to play this year anyway.
Yeah,
it's probably. But yeah, I'm taking the Bucks this game. It won't be close. The Dolphins, it sucks because we live down here. We love I don't know if you love the Dolphins, but they're my second favorite team. I want to see them do good. But I want to see the Dolphins do good. They're the hometown team, but they're just not getting it together this year.
The Florida team that I used to like was actually the Buccaneers until they got Tom Brady and won a Super Bowl. Then I like the Dolphins because I don't like the whole Tom Brady.
I'm taking the Bucs.
I like to like a bad team every once in a while. I am a Giants fan after all.
It's true.
Buccaneers, by the way, if that wasn't clear.
Buccaneers.
Dolphins secondary is really the only thing that can go crazy, and it hasn't been going crazy. I mean, Xavier Howard's still been good, but hasn't been going crazy. So Buccaneers are just going to go off. They already have arguably the best receiving core in the league. I don't really know about that, but they do have arguably the best, and you could put up a good fight about it. But overall, yeah, the Bucs are just going to probably crush the Dolphins, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm going the Bucs as well by a lot. Next up, Packers versus Bengals. You know, the Bengals have surprisingly had a 3-1 start, but do they stand a chance against the Packers?
No. No. I don't know what you want to say there. No. The Packers are better. I heard people saying, what if Stephon to the Packers, and I instantly shut it down. That was actually I shot Ben just a list a little bit ago. It wasn't anything, just like in a group chat where I was just typing it out. We were talking about the Stephon Gilmore release, and I sent this was my list for the least likely places Stephon would go, and I had the Packers at number 4. At number 5. So I just don't think that he would have went there. I don't know where they got that, but I'm pretty sure the Packers are going to go for Jalen Smith, who we really didn't talk about. But you know, Jalen Smith's not even that great, so it's not worth it. But getting carried away. Packers are going to beat the Bengals here. Bengals still look. I could see them actually putting up a fight here.
I'm tempted. I'm really tempted to pick the Bengals in this game.
Go for it.
You know, I'm doing it. I mean, yeah, I'm fucking. No, I'm picking the Bengals here. They're 3-1. Could they be a real playoff team this year? I mean, I believe they lead their division right now. They're tied with the Browns, but I'm gonna take the Bengals.
They're tied with the Browns and the Ravens, actually. Tough division, but the Bengals are technically on the top. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Packers though. Next up we have the Broncos and Steelers game. Teams that I just really I don't necessarily like the Broncos at all, and the Steelers just make me mad.
Yeah. So I don't know who to pick in this game.
I do. I'm gonna pick the Steelers because I actually think that this one they're actually like the better team in general, better coached, better whatever. I think put it like this. I think Steelers play Ravens this season and they don't get beat like the Broncos did. They might still lose, but they won't get beat like the Broncos did. And if that's got to come down to, it kind of can, because this is a kind of weird matchup.
Yeah, this Broncos, is a weird matchup.
I don't really care for this game, but at the same time, it's fun to see games that you don't often see. And there's a couple of those this week. Bears and Raiders, weird. Bills and Chiefs, that's awesome. We also have, Packers, Bengals, Dolphins, Bucks, Washington and the Saints, Eagles, Panthers, kind of. Patriots, Texans, just like weird matchups.
Jets, yeah, I see what you mean.
And it is kind of fun. It's just like refreshing because you never really see it too often. Like the reason that the Panthers and the Giants play this year is because of that. Same with Panthers and the Patriots. And yeah, it's just it's nice. Which I just realized that Panthers-Patriots game is going to be a Stephon Gilmore revenge game.
Yes, it will be.
That's going to be cool. But I'm going to take the Steelers here. What are you going to do here?
I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. We've talked about this before. The Broncos are frauds, just like the Steelers were frauds last year. Just like the Steelers were frauds last year, the Broncos are frauds this year. I'm going with the Steelers.
Okay. Bears versus Raiders. No. I almost jumped just saying go Bears. But honestly, the Bears could win, but Bears
could win.
I'm gonna pick the Raiders, but Bears could win. You know,
I'm gonna go with the. You know what? Just to be different, I'm gonna go with the Bears. I
oh,
think that
I was just about to switch up. I was gonna say, but we just saw for the first time a Bears offense not ran by Matt Nagy, and it was good.
yeah.
It was good. They were moving. It was good.
And I mean, if there's one team that can if there's one team that can allow Justin Fields to succeed, it's the Raiders secondary.
I mean, the Raiders secondary hasn't even been okay. What I'm about to say might sound weird. Just let me explain. The Raiders secondary hasn't even it's been good. It's been legitimately good. It's just that's like such like a not inconsistent because we haven't seen
It's such a small sample size, is what you mean.
Not even. No, a small sample size would be like what we saw of Justin Fields so far. I'm just saying, like, Raiders in general, I just think their defense has been good, but it's been like kind of just like, oh, this person was good this week and this defense was good this week. It's not like I can't see it being like, oh, they have a good defense, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
It kind of relies on like if this happens, you know? It's reliant like how I thought of the Dolphins last year, like, oh, they forced a fumble, but not every time that's gonna happen, and then they would lose this game. Like when Andrew Van Ginkel recovered the fumble for a touchdown, like when's that happen? It's very lucky. But then we found out that Dolphins was skill based, their forced fumbles and turnovers last year. Raiders, I don't think it's the same case. I don't think it's skill based. I think it's very luck based.
So who are you taking?
I'm gonna take the Raiders just because you chose the Bears already.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Bears. Definitely a good matchup, though.
Yeah, Browns Chargers, another good matchup.
Another amazing matchup. I'm gonna start first on this one. I'm
Right.
taking the Chargers. The Chargers have honestly been my dark horse candidate for the Super Bowl ever since the start of the year, and they have lived up to my expectations and more. I mean, they beat Kansas City. They beat Kansas City 2 weeks ago, and they look amazing this year. They look really good. Going into the season, I thought they would succeed, and I know I talked about this a couple episodes, but I'm going to bring it up again. In our regression and progression episode, I talked about how I think Justin Herbert's numbers will regress this year, but the Chargers will have a better record than last year. And so far that has been true. Justin Herbert is not on pace for the same amount of like yards and touchdowns as he did last year. But he's doing a much better job leading the Chargers offense. He's making a lot less mistakes, leading to less turnovers. And overall, he's just winning more games for the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a very good team. They completely revamped their O-line. Rashawn Slater's been pretty good, but the real star has been the center, Corey Linsley. He's created holes in both the running and he's allowed time for pass protection. And he's a great leader of the O-line. The Chargers defense has looked really good, led by Joey Bosa. And I think overall, they're just an overall better team than the Browns. And I know it's weird saying that because the Browns are one of the most talented teams in the league. But in my opinion, I think the Chargers are more talented.
So when you say defense led by Joey Bosa, I almost want to correct you because it might sound weird, but I'm thinking Derwin James.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Derwin James has been one of the best safeties in the league.
Dude has only played 300 snaps in the past like 4 years or something. Something like that.
No, he's been outstanding. You're right.
In the past 3 years, it's been 400 snaps. 300 snaps. And Derwin James has been incredible. He was one of the highest graded DBs. He's kind of out of that, but he's still been really good. It's harder as a strong safety. Excuse me. I'm still taking the Browns. So, I'm not like I haven't really gotten the chance to watch the Browns yet this season, which really is weird. But as Ben knows, at least I am a very conservative TV watcher when it comes to the NFL. I watch one game at a time. I won't go and watch Red Zone or I won't go and even watch clips from YouTube or anything. Only thing I really do is monitor fantasy and look at scores. But I don't really want to watch every game. I like to watch one game. Browns haven't been in any of those games. I have watched the Chargers. But Browns are yet to be seen by me. So I'm gonna pick the Browns just because they left a good taste in my mouth last time I watched them. And Chargers, I mean, they beat the Chiefs last time I watched them, so it's a toss up for me. But I'm gonna go Browns just because you chose Chargers.
All right. Moving on, we got the New York Giants coming off their first win of the season against the Cowboys.
Yeah. And the Cowboys beating the Panthers, not making them undefeated. Cowboys look good.
And the Cowboys look really good.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys.
But
Well, they're off. They look like a top.
Listen. I'm gonna take the Cowboys because it's safer, but the Giants are gonna win.
All right. Well, you say that. Think that to yourself.
Yeah, I am.
Believe.
You know what? Maybe I will. And maybe just my hope will.
Yeah, your hope will keep the ball in Daniel Jones' hands and not make him fumble.
You've seen people saying Daniel Jones isn't a joke anymore. He's not the worst QB anymore. Or
He's a joke.
People saying like he's like top 20. You can't judge that off of a game. I'd love for that to be true. You can't judge that off a game.
And also keep in mind it was against the Falcons.
It was against the Saints.
Oh no, I thought you meant the game. Oh, never mind. Bad. He also played decent against the Falcons, but you're right. It was against the Saints.
I'm taking the Cowboys though.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys as well.
It's always a good week when the NFC West plays.
Yeah. When because they always play each other like together. Like it's always like both of them.
So this is 49ers Cardinals, and wow. Usually the Cardinals games are less entertaining, but now the Cardinals are good. So it's kind of just awesome. This is a really good week for football.
Yeah, it is. Much better than last week.
I mean, last week ended up being really weird.
It ended up being pretty good, but it wasn't. The games on paper were not that good. On paper,
yeah. Who are you taking here? I'm gonna take the Cardinals, but 49ers. 49ers have been disappointing, honestly, for me.
This is probably I'm fine admitting when I'm wrong. Probably my worst take I've had this year is that Kyler Murray. I've been one to diss Kyler Murray, but he has clearly proved me wrong.
Yeah, he's overtaken Mahomes for MVP odds.
Yeah, you know that I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, I have nothing against him as a guy, but I'm not the biggest fan of Kyler Murray on the field. And yeah. I think I am going to stand by that. I still think he's a little overrated, but I got to give the man respect where it's due. He's been absolutely outstanding this year. And I think if a little more polish to his game, he could really become like a top 5 quarterback in the league, if not already. But I'm still taking the 49ers in this game.
I was about to say, are you not taking the 49ers?
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers. I love the 49ers this year. I think
Ben has this thing going on where he thinks the Cardinals are going to just lose. Like it's coming.
I don't know why, but I feel like the Cardinals will finish like 9-8.
Yeah, he doesn't think the Cardinals are making the playoffs.
I honestly don't see it happening.
Speaking of teams that are making the playoffs, as I go Cardinals, he goes 49ers.
Yeah.
Bills versus Chiefs. Oh yes, this is a good game.
The Bills have looked. I mean, honestly, there's a very strong case for both teams in this game. The Bills have looked like one of the best teams in the league this year.
100. Okay, ready? I'm gonna say something pretty crazy. 120. Over 120 points will be scored total this game.
That's your prediction?
Yeah, 60 points each team, whatever you want to call it.
I don't see that. Game. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as you think.
This is going to be the highest scoring game of the season.
I don't agree.
This is going to be the craziest game you're going to watch in. It's going to
be. I think it's going to be insane, but I think that the Bills' defense has looked really good this year, and they'll at least be able to contain the Chiefs.
It's going to be the Chiefs-Rams game all over again.
That could very be possible. I can't tell who to pick. This is definitely. I don't think there's a question. It's the best game of the week, but
this might be the best game of the season if it turns out all the
way. Who are you taking?
Oh, geez, dude. You know what? Are you gonna go Kansas City, Ben?
I don't know.
I think I'm gonna go with the Bills.
All right.
What are you gonna do here?
I think I'm gonna go with Kansas City, but Bills, cool. the Bills are so tempting. I mean, they've looked like the best. If I'm going to be honest, besides the week 1 loss, they've looked like the best team in the football. They've looked like, honestly, I would say that so far over the first 4 weeks, even though they're not undefeated, they've looked like the best team in football.
The Bills have scored like 120 points, I think, the number I just predicted for this game in the past 3 weeks against their opponents.
Yeah, and they've had 2 shutouts, so big props to the Bills defense for stepping it up.
2 shutouts.
I'm still going to go with the Chiefs, though.
3 weeks.
I mean, if the Chiefs lose this game, they fall to 2-3.
Then they're still last in their division. Even if the Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers lose, they're still last in the division.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Chiefs will win this game, but I think this has potential to be one of the greatest games of the year, if not the greatest.
Yeah. And for Monday Night Football, as I go with the Bills, he goes with the Chiefs. We kind of just split. I could definitely see the Chiefs winning that game. We have the Colts Ravens. Ben, please do not let this curse happen.
Oh, the Colts curse.
The Ben has this curse where whenever he predicts the Colts, any Colts game, pretty much, he gets it wrong. I'm taking the Ravens, Ben. Ben.
I feel like Colts fans hate me.
Okay.
I picked the Colts to win every week.
Yeah, you did. You really
actually have. I think I picked the Dolphins last week, actually.
Did you take the Dolphins?
I believe I did.
You just make sure that the Colts don't win.
You know what? I might actually go with the Colts this week.
Ben, it's just every week you choose, even if you don't choose the Colts, every week you're choosing for a Colts game, you get it wrong.
I know. I think I'm actually going to go with the Colts this week.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, when the Ravens win and carry off the Lombardi trophy from this game, I don't know. I don't even know. But
I may or may not have done that so Lamar Jackson scores 50 points. But besides that, no, seriously, I think I really am going to go with the Colts in this game. I think that they've been quietly bad this season, but I mean, they turned it around a little, not very impressive win, not the most impressive win against a Miami Dolphins team led by Jacoby Brissett. But I think that it is the momentum that they needed, even if it's not a lot. And I think they will be able to beat the Ravens, who in turn are a very good team. I see this also being a good game, just like every other primetime game this year.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. We'll see, bud. We'll see about it. It could happen. The Colts aren't a bad team.
I know.
I'm just thinking you choose the Dolphins over the Colts, but you don't choose the Ravens over the Colts.
I don't know.
And the Rams, you choose the Colts over the Rams.
Actually, I might have gotten that. Oh no, I did pick the Colts over the Rams.
Yeah, I know.
Because I remember I said Quinn Nelson's gonna win the matchup.
Yeah, that worked out for you.
I mean, I don't think Aaron Donald went crazy in that game, but
he didn't. But it was probably. I mean, Quinn Nelson said it himself. He said he is the best player in the NFL.
Yeah. All right. So that wraps up our picks for the week. Definitely a very interesting week of football. Interesting day in football with the Stephon Gilmore trade. I hope you guys enjoyed our analysis on that and our game picks. But yeah, that's pretty much all for us. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Go check out the Instagram.
Yes, go check out the Instagram.
Almost forgot, Ben.
I almost forgot. All right, go check out the Instagram @NanoWoods Podcast, and goodbye.